She's accompanied this afternoon. First in the news, former Majority Leader of Parliament, Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, has dismissed allegations that there was an organized parliamentary backing for candidate Dr. Bawumia in the 2023 NPP Flagbearer elections. His comment comes in response to comments made by senior party members, including John Peter Amewu and others, suggesting that the entire party structure was ripped in line to vote for the then vice president.
In the past election, I would say the playing field was not level at all. It was a fact. I sat in cabinet, and I know, and I talked to my colleague ministers, and I don't know what happened at that time. The party executives, the members of government, I mean, including top government officials, they all tailored towards one particular candidate, which we know, obviously, and that was His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. And from the national party to the constituency party, regional party, all the executives, were supporting him. And most ministers, members of parliament, district chief executives. So the government machinery then under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was handed over to, Dr. Bawumia to pursue his flag-bearer agenda. And that was exactly what happened.
But speaking on Ekosise and on Asempa FM on Thursday, the former majority leader dismissed the allegations.
Yeah, with media, I don't know who will be. I was at the time I was a majority leader. Sure. Nobody, absolutely nobody spoke to me. Nobody said my name MPC Kokasa. And God is my witness. Me say God is my witness. Nobody. And a friend, sir. I said, Sanya Canon Swa. It has been said, they say, in the lead up to 2008. Yes. That's system also a weapon for Alan Chamati. Those comments were made. Yes. Akufo-Addo Jina Yeno. That's system number. Is that not the case? Sure. Akufo-Addo Uncle Wene. Oh, we need. So if people have trust in you, regardless, regardless, I don't want to recline and then deal with those matters because as I'm saying, me dancing. Yes. Nobody spoke to me. Say, oh, any MPC. I was a leader at the time. So any MPC in Kasana. I said, no, nobody. But the president at the time.
Being honest, though, the 37 came got a surprise, Kakra. To be very honest,
it did. Because you see, he harvested from the discontent
in the system.
And
the narrative also push it.
Pull it out, Okay. What you say? Okay. Then microphone you answer good. Okay. What you say? Okay. It could be possible. Say this time, be a unyasa.
Now let's stay on the NPP because caution against division in the party is increasing as aspirants enter the last days of campaign ahead of the presidential primaries on January 31. This subject to center stage are the signing of peace pact among all 5 aspirants on Thursday. First, listen to Minority Leader Alexander Penyumakin speak at the program at Alisa Hotel.
Let me start off by saying that opposition is painful and lonely. We know this. Good friends don't pick up calls. They ignore us and they find new friends. We are living it. We feel it every day. And surely, none of us wants to remain there. We want power to serve, to transform lives, and to move Ghana forward. But power does not come through division. Power comes through discipline. Power comes through unity. Power comes through sacrifice. Let's note, the history of this tradition teaches us a simple truth. Whenever the NPP is united, it is formidable, and whenever it is divided, it bleeds, and Ghana pays the price. Remember the 1979 election, the PFP and the UNC. The rest we all know. Factionalism may energize internal contests, but it weakens the party's capacity to win national election and to govern effectively. and I was saddened hearing that the respected Professor Frimpong Boateng saying publicly that he did not vote in 2024 elections. This is what division can do to us. It's unfortunate. Unity is not a slogan. Unity is conduct. It is a discipline to disagree without destroying one another. The humility to accept outcomes we may not like, and the maturity to place the national project above personal disappointment. Every single insult traded, every unsubstantiated allegation, every attempt to demonize a rival today becomes a weapon in our opponent's hand tomorrow.
Former Chief of Staff Freba Osei Opari says unresolved deep-seated divisions are the reasons for the NPP's loss in 2024.
Distinguished presidential candidates, in my work as the chairperson of the party's conflict resolution committee from 2010 to 2020, it became clear that our electoral losses, both in parliamentary and presidential elections, can be largely linked to the many internal conflicts within the party and our inability to heal faster. We are unable to forgive ourselves, reconcile, and move on after our internal elections. The National Council of Patrons admonishes that under no circumstance should the choice of the delegates in any of our internal elections degenerate into irreconcilable disagreement, knowing that most of the positions in NPP remain elective positions. This peace pact that we are about to sign today is not only for aspirants and delegates, but also for all of us as NPP members and sympathizers.
To the NDC, the race for the Ayawasu East parliamentary seat is taking shape following the announcement by Hajia Amina Adam, widow of the late MP Muhammad Nasser Ture, that she will contest the upcoming by-election. Her decision has drawn mixed reactions, with critics questioning the timing so soon after her husband's passing. The Electoral Commission has set Tuesday, March 3 for the by-election in line with constitutional provisions after the seat became vacant. Hajia Adam says she was persuaded by appeals from constituents, party grassroots and traditional leaders to continue her late husband's work. Even as her declaration dominates early discussions, it also revives historical interest in cases where widows of deceased MPs have successfully won by-elections. Here is a News Desk report.
Since the start of Ghana's Fourth Republic in 1993, there have been a handful of notable cases where the wife or widow of a deceased member of parliament or parliamentary candidate stepped in to contest elections, often following the death of their husband while in active politics. These cases, though few, have all ended in electoral victory. The first recorded instance dates back to the year 2000 in the Esutifi South constituency. Cecilia Jan Amwa, wife of NPP parliamentary candidate Dr. Philip Kofi Ejapon Amwa, entered the race after her husband died in the run-up to the general election. The party selected her to replace him, and she went on to win the seat. In 2016, a similar situation unfolded in the Shai Osudoku constituency. The NDC's parliamentary candidate, Desmond William Oklu, died in a tragic road accident before the general election. The party subsequently nominated his widow, Linda Obiniwa Akwele Oklu, who won the seat and has remained in parliament since. The other high-profile case occurred in Ayawasu West Wogon in 2019, following the death of NPP MP Emmanuel Chematin Ejakon. Lydia Sarah Malasan, who had a prior relationship with the late MP, was selected to contest the by-election. She retained a seat in that controversial Ayawasu West Wogon by-election. In the Tempane constituency, the death of NDC MP David Adakudugu in 2019 paved way for his wife, Akamvariba Lydia Lamisi, to enter the race. She was chosen as the party's replacement candidate and won the seat in 2020. Again in 2020, following the murder of sitting MP for Infanteman, Echo Hayford, during the campaign period, the NPP selected his widow, Ophelia Hayford, to contest the election. She resigned from the Ghana Police Service to run and won the seat in December 2020.
Now, in the last few hours, the National Democratic Congress has also issued a formal statement outlining the roadmap for its parliamentary primaries in Ayawasu East as it prepares to select a candidate for the March 3 by-elections. And I'll just bring you that shortly on your screen. It says that the National Democratic Congress, NDC, hereby informs the general public, party members and prospective aspirants of the following arrangements governing the upcoming Ayawasu East constituency parliamentary primaries in the Greater Accra region. It continues as well to say, it gives the information on filing of nomination forms, says that nomination forms shall be obtained from the Greater Accra Regional Office of the party, and says that when you complete filling that form as well, you return it to the exact place. It says that completed nomination forms must be submitted to the same office upon completion. The statement continues to give an update on delegate list. It says that the official delegate list shall be made available to aspirants upon verification of payment of the approved filing fee into the party's official account. The statement was quite categorical about how much it costs for nomination forms. It says 5,000 Ghana cedis, and then the filing fee as well, 40,000 Ghana cedis. However, some exceptions have been made. Female aspirants and persons living with disabilities shall be granted a 50% reduction on the filing fee, which is the 40,000 Ghana cedis. Now, how do you pay? It says that no checks or bankers' drafts shall be accepted. All payments must be done directly into the party's official bank account as detailed below, and with the details provided on your screen as well. Our primaries table says that the timetable, I beg your pardon, the official timetable for the primaries is attached to this notice. Now, all aspirants and stakeholders are required to strictly comply with the timelines outlined there. The party urges all aspirants to adhere fully to these guidelines and to conduct the activities with the decency, unity, and in the true spirit of fairness and internal democracy. That is the statements from the National Democratic Congress to all aspirants as well. Now, my colleague Stephen Mensah has been engaged in some constituents of Ayawasu East on Hajia Amina Adams' intention to contest.
It will be difficult for her to stand or to win the election. It will be difficult for her. But let's put our fingers across and then see what will happen. With support, we will support her. I mean, it's like election. Someone will be like, I will support her. The person will go behind the polling station or behind the ballot box, and then the person will be like, oh, I won't allow this, so let me just give it to the man. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm a Christian though, but I don't know whether I should win or not. I have no, I'm confused. I doubt. Yeah, I doubt.
For her to succeed, it might have been better if someone else had contested in her place.
We are more concentrated on our inner primaries. That is to elect our parliamentary candidate. So after that, which is going to happen on the 7th February, after that, then we all come together and proceed towards the March 3rd election. There are a lot of aspirants, but for now, until nomination form are open tomorrow, and you see how many people pick the form, you can't categorically say we have 5 people, 10 people, or 20 people contesting. Depending on who are going to pick the form, that is where we draw the line that we have 3, 4, or 5 people contesting. You know, East Ayawasu has been a backbone and NDC purely constituency since '92. So everybody is looking up to the NDC. Who are you presenting? Who is coming? Who is leading you? That is why we say everybody should keep calm. Let's wait for February 7th. After that parliamentary primaries, we present a better candidate for East Ayawasu.
So I'm confident that his wife has a strong chance of winning the election.
Away from the NDC, Arise Ghana has suspended its picketing of the U.S. Embassy in Accra for 1 week, pending official responses and assurances from American authorities. The pressure group has warned that it will resume its indefinite protest if it does not receive firm assurances on the early return of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Arise Ghana has also calling on embassy officials to intensify collaboration with authorities abroad to fast-track his return to Ghana.
Ken Ofori-Atta, a Ghanaian national and former Minister of Finance, whose presence in Ghana is being sought by appropriate state institutions to respond to matters arising within established constitutional, legal, and accountability frameworks. Commitment to due process and rule of law. This request is guided neither by prejudice nor presumption of guilt, but by Ghana's enduring commitment to due process, transparency, accountability, and the rule of law as enshrined in its constitution and democratic practice. Bilateral relations and shared democratic values. Ghana and the United States of America share a long-standing and cordial relationship founded on diplomatic values, good governance, mutual respect for sovereignty, and cooperation in matters of justice and institutional accountability. It is in this spirit of partnership and mutual respect that this petition is respectfully submitted, with the understanding that the facilitation of lawful processes strengthens public confidence in democratic institutions and reinforces international norms of accountability. Request for diplomatic assistance or guidance. We humbly request that the embassy within the bounds of diplomatic mandate and applicable international and domestic laws.
Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is mounting strong criticism against the government over its continued failure to lift the ban on grains exports, even as farmers across the country struggle to sell their produce. According to the association, the situation has been worsened by influx of imported maize, which continues to dominate the local markets, leaving locally produced grains without buyers and pushing farmers into deep financial distress. Now, farmers in the Upper West region are among the hardest hit as thousands of bags of maize remain unsold despite repeated appeals for interventions. Speaking to JoyNews, the Peasant Farmers Association warned that the prolonged situation could discourage a large-scale and commercial farming with dire consequences for national food. Before we engage the association, here are some farmers expressing their frustration over the worsening situation.
Last year, at this time, maize was 500 Ghana cedis a bag. That's 100 kg. But this year, like this, even 300 you will not get. 300 Ghana cedis for the 100 kg you will not get. And during the time of planting, we bought fertilizer about 420 Ghana cedis.
I have already incurred losses this farming season. Even though I am yet to sell my parts of maize, the current market price is a clear indication that I will lose a significant amount of money.
Just even to get money to even bring those items to the household is even a challenge for us now. How will I be happy to go in for next year harvest? It's a problem. So I don't know, many people will drop out from the farming this year.
We have seen that. Why should I come and work and take one bag of maize? Then I'm going to sell 250 or 300. That's why now, this year, they left us and ran back to Northern region and then Northeast.
This year, we couldn't get laborers to help us do harvesting.
Why?
Because of the low price of maize. Maize, okay. The price is low. So the women at Ape said the prices are not good, so they will not come.
Well, let's engage the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Food and Agriculture and as well Cocoa Affairs, Dr. Godfrey Seidu Jasau. Thank you so much for joining us, Doc. So has the committee's attention been drawn to this growing concern?
Yes, we are aware of the situation of maize, in particular maize glut in the countryside. And we've engaged the policymakers, we've engaged the Ministry of Agri and also the National Food Buffer Stock on co-evolving a solution that can be sustainable enough to ensure that this situation does not recur. Just before I say that, let me underscore the fact that having enough food produce in the system is actually positive. Because this is at a time that we are just recovering from food shortages and higher food price inflation. Now, this situation is resulting in a lowering of food price inflation, which means that there's actually food for Ghanaians to be able to buy. Now, buffer stock has its challenges, but like I say, let's move forward. Our forward march is that we have structured a solution to this. First of all, we have about over 40,000 metric tons of maize that are hanging in the countryside via our desktop analysis for people to buy. I mean, that has to be bought. Now, there's a financing challenge, there's an infrastructure challenge, there's an investment challenge. Financing challenge, government is approaching it by allocating 200 million Ghana cedis. Now, this has been appropriated, and so Buffer Stock has advertised and shortlisted 13 companies that are also geographically distributed in a way that you won't have them buying them from Edra only, but you can have traceability, where some of them are located in the middle belt, some are located in the southern belt, some are located in the northern belt.
Right.
And so you have this, they are crowding in this 160 million Ghana cedis that is available to them, and then they are allowed to source in additional private financing to be able to attack the issue, buy maize, and also buy paddy rice.
Okay.
Now, the idea is that when they do this, what do we do with the produce? We have to store them. The previous government invested a lot in warehousing, if you recall. Now, unfortunately, most of the warehouses are at various stages of completion. So but we are also, as committee, satisfied with the processes of engagement of buffer stock with private warehousing companies that have agreed to hold these grains as they are bought. Now, as they hold them, you have to remember, this is food. It has to be a revolving stock. So at least within 6 months, you have to move them out. And so by this time, these produce will have been off the hands of farmers. And farmers will have been given enough money that will allow them to process their next production season. And so from the processes that have been outlined, let me assure you that we are very confident that by mid-February, we should not have this problem again. And so when we have done this, you can then say that what is the stocks we still have? Can you then open up the markets for exports?
Okay.
At the moment, I think the first stop solution shouldn't be opening up borders for export. Because as you know, food security is a concern to every country. And over the years, we've not been able to hold any grains as a national buffer stock. So in the event that, God forbid, there is a conflict, there is a reasons why you cannot produce, you will not have any food to feed your population. And so it's so critical that we have a structured approach. One, we have a national reserve. Two, we're able to buy these produce from the farmers. That's why we have ensured that buffer stock selection of private buyers or aggregators are scattered across the country in middle, southern, and northern belt. And that they have enough money to be able to buy. But not just buy, they will buy at minimum guaranteed price. That is a price that can still enable the farmer to break even.
Okay.
So, for example, they are buying at least 4 cedis 50 pesos for a kilogram of maize, and then 5 cedis for a kilogram of your friends saying paddy rice. And so, if you have these guarantees and you can really operationalize this effectively, you will be able to ensure that there is liquidity for the farmers to be able to produce, and that the complaints that they are not able to sell the produce will be a thing of the past. I'm very confident of the process.
Two things. I find two gaps that I want you to fill in for me. First will be that do the farmers understand this plan? It sounds like a plan that you're just telling me, quite an extensive and well thought through plan. Do they understand this plan? You also mentioned that private funding. So apart from the buffer stock as well, with the money that has been made available, you're supposed to as well find some money or funding privately. Do we know how and when that funding can come? And how are we cushioning them till this plan is implemented?
So immediate. Immediate in the sense that the ministry now has a responsibility, which we have discussed with them extensively, to go out and educate the farmers and inform the farmers of this well thought out structured solution. Now, you know, as a country, we've not done so well in processing and value addition. The initiative of one district, one factory was laudable, but you and I know that we didn't make a lot of progress with that one. Now, it means that value addition component has to come in aggressively in 2026. And I'm very confident and satisfied with the plans and arrangements that the Ministry of Trade has announced in terms of agri-processing establishment. But as you can see, that is in the medium to long term. In the short term, which you and I are very concerned about, the Well Food Program is also supported with what they call mobile storage units and also a market to be able to buy this produce when we are able to mop them up. And so, in direct answer to your question, the ministry now has a quick responsibility to immediately disclose these informations and arrangements to the Ghanaian populace and therefore the farmers, so that insecurity they are feeling and panicking. I heard some of them in your earlier broadcast. Yeah. And that insecurity can be curtailed and we can contain it. I want to assure Ghana, I want to assure Ghanaians and the farmers that you spoke to, and many of them, that government has a structured solution. As a committee, your representatives, we have gone through co-producing this approach with them, and we are very satisfied that our limiting factor now is the finance minister. We need that money released. If the money is released,
which will be the which will be the money that was already announced in the budget.
The money that has been announced will be 200 has been appropriated,
yes,
and 160 has been released.
Okay.
We don't want a situation where buffer stock will go to controller and controller says they have not been authorized to pay.
Okay.
No, we cannot handle that.
Right.
And that I'm saying directly to the Minister of Finance that this is non-negotiable and that must come.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the news today.
Thank you so much.
Let's move on to you as well. Let's move on to rice farmers along Ghana's largest irrigation project, the Pone Irrigation Scheme, are battling mountain losses as tons of harvested rice remain unpurchased despite government assurances and directives to deploy aggregators to absorb the surplus. Farmers insist no intervention has reached them. On working visits to the scheme, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, sought to calm tensions, promising the introduction of millers to process the excess paddy rice. My colleague Masola Kobotu has more.
Under the scorching sun of Pong, heaps of freshly harvested rice sit idle. What should be seasons of profits are instead becoming seasons of losses for farmers along Ghana's largest irrigation project, simply because there are no buyers. During a working visit to Pond Irrigation Scheme, the farmers explained how the situation was pushing many of them into idleness and financial distress. Charles Tetehombe is the president of the Federation of Water Users Association.
We produce, but we can't sell. That is our major issue. The paddy we produce, we cannot sell because there is no market. Government has announced and put in place that we will be having off-takers and aggregators who off-take our rice. Currently, as we are here now, we did not see aggregators or off-takers who are taking our rice.
Addressing the concerns, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, assured the farmers that government will support the milling of their paddy rice to make it suitable for purchase by the National Buffer Stock Company.
Our farmers have invested so much in production
They have produced so much and they are not getting the market for their produce. This is disincentive to further production. Buffer stock is not procuring paddy. They are procuring milled rice. And so we are now having some contracts with the millers. We want to empower the millers, make resources available to the millers for them to buy, do the milling, and then send to buffer stock.
Aside from the working visits, attention was drawn to the deplorable state of the roads leading to the farms. The minister, however, assured that the roads will be included in the over 1,000-kilometer schedule to be tarred under the current administration.
I'm also happy to note that as part of the project, we are also fixing some of the roads, except that the major road must also be included.
With tons of rice still sitting idle and roads that barely allow passage, farmers at Pong faces a challenging future. Government assurances may offer hope, but the real test lies in action. For Joy News, Maxwell Aklobato's report read to you.
Now, for over 3 decades, pupils of the Koforidua Basic School have pursued a knowledge in classrooms without walls, where lessons compete with the weather, hunger, and even threats of snakes. JoyNews' Anas Sabit reports on a school forgotten by time, where children trek for water, learn on empty stomachs, and sit the same exam as their city counterparts, all while waiting for the basic dignity of their proper roof over their heads.
In the heart of the Tichima municipality, a school stands as a testament to both community hope and systemic neglect. For over 3 decades, it has been the only beacon of learning for 5 communities. But here, education isn't confined by walls, it is exposed to the elements. This is the reality of the pupils of Koforidua Sreso Basic School.
The school serves about 5 communities, namely Koforidua, Sreso number 1, Sreso number 2, Jabal Krom, Yadanso, and Konkoma. Since the time the school block was constructed, there's no renovation and there's no any additional infrastructure here.
Established in the year 1991 with just 3 classrooms, this school's student body has grown. Its infrastructure, however, has gone organic. What you see are not makeshift shelters. These are the official permanent classrooms for over 100 children. Tim Nimo Job is the headmaster of the school.
So if you look at the school should have been 8 classrooms, but if you look here, we are only having 3 classrooms, which is not helping teaching and learning. So if you look at the students here, we have only 3 classes that are in the classrooms. The entire 5 are under trees. When it's a rainy season, we cannot teach. When it's Hamatan, you cannot teach.
Compounding the challenge of learning outdoors is the pang of hunger. Unlike many public schools, Sreso Basic does not benefit from the Ghana School Feeding Program.
And if you look at the distance from Tanosu to here, the school is not having a feeding program. So when you teach to around 12 o'clock, you see the students moving and looking tired and others because of what? Hungry.
And for their most basic need, water, the children embark on a daily trek, a 3-kilometer journey to a nearby stream, cutting into learning time and raising serious questions about waterborne diseases.
There's no potable water here. We fetch from the streams, which is about 3 kilometers away from the school. So we are appealing to the authorities to come and help us to construct a mechanized borehole for us.
James Kusi teaches 2 classes at once, primary 1 and 2. He explains how difficult the situation has been over the years.
I teach class 1 and 2. You know, it's not easy, all that easy. It's very difficult because, you know, 2 classes and each class has its own syllabus. By times, since they are 2, you have to teach 1 subject, or if you are to teach P1, you have to teach both P1 and 2.
Due to the absence of doors and ceilings, snakes slide in from the bush into the classrooms, disrupting lessons sometimes.
We are surrounded by bush, so we know, and trees are also nearer to the school building. So at times, the snake pass through the snake dummy, the trees, and then they enter the top there. And at times, you come and meet snakes under the chairs of the mono desk, which is very, very serious.
Headmaster and team laments how they prepare these children for the same national exams as those in Accra or Kumasi, even though they lack basic facilities.
If you look at the way the school is situated, we are writing the same exams as those in Laboni, those in Accra, those in Kumasi, those in Techiman. But my question is this environment fair to us?
From snake invasions to water shortages, from hunger to the mercy of the weather, the staff and pupils of Sreso Basic School navigate a gauntlet of challenges just to achieve a fundamental right. Their appeal is not for luxury, but for dignity, for walls, for water, for a fighting chance.
So we appeal to them to just come and have a look at the school and give us a helping hand.
So this has been the terrible situation for pupils and teachers here at the Koforidua Sreso MA Basic School. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Anas Sabit.
You're watching News Today. Please stay for business updates.
Back to business here on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. Young Ghanaians have been oriented to begin the second year of the Precision Quality TM Internship Program, an initiative designed by the Design and Technology Institute in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation to bridge the gap between classroom training and industry-ready technical skills. Here's more.
The nationwide skills training program is aimed at tackling youth unemployment to equip 6,000 unemployed young people with industry-relevant technical skills and structured pathway into sustainable livelihood. The initiative is designed to support participants into wage employment, entrepreneurship, and startup seeding opportunities.
So Precision Quality Internship is a program designed to bridge the gap between industry and academia, because we realize that there's a gap between what we learn in school and what we have to practice when we go on the job, which is why we've developed Precision Quality Internship. It combines what you usually do as an apprentice for about 3 years. It combines this into a 6-month program taught for free, with the tools and the equipment needed for the program also given out for free for the duration of the 6 months. And that's not all. When the learners are done at the end of the 6 months, they have 3 pathways. It's either we get them ready jobs based on the programs they are learning, or we give them startup kits.
For the 2026 program year, the initiative is targeting 3,250 participants across 4 key cities, which is Accra, Ho, Kumasi, and Tamale, as part of effort to expand regional access and align skills training with industry demand.
It's for some time now, it's been my dream to learn fashion designing, but I didn't really have the chance to. So when I saw the opportunity to sign up for this program for 6 months, I decided to join. And I'm expecting that at the end of the 6 months period, I would have the skill to start my own business.
This is it helps me commit to continuous learning, and also, as the program promises, to train us to industry standards.
In Accra, 550 participants attended an orientation session held at the Trinity Theological Seminary in East Legon, while 497 participants took part in a simultaneous event at the Dagbukpa Technical Institute in Tamale.
Now, moving on, the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies has thrown its full support behind the implementation of the 4 price floor program. The decision was taken at an emergency board meeting convened to discuss this issue. Board chairman of the chamber, Gabriel Kumi, confirmed the resolution while speaking on PM Express Business Edition.
It was unanimous. Was unanimous on this policy. We feel at this particular moment the floor pricing policy must remain. It was unanimous, And like I did indicate, the industry is dynamic. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Maybe Star is thinking ahead of time and is trying to come up with possible issues with this policy and trying to preempt the whole thing by asking for it to be scrapped. But when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But for now, at this moment, as a stand, the industry as a stand, we strongly believe that that policy should continue to exist. What we are going to call for is for it to be implemented properly. If you have set a floor that no company should sell below, then we expect our regulator to adhere strictly by that. I think one of Star's arguments is that there are companies who are already even pricing below that.
Some are even advertising.
Exactly. So that's the backstops with the regulator to crack the whip and really make sure that the policy you have put in place is working and is working properly. I think the source of all this problem is the fact that that policy is not working properly.
We have more business update for you at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. Up next is sports.